MCL, the word in your home.
Good morning and welcome. It's a beautiful Monday morning, the second day of April, the year 2018. I hope you really rose up well. Good morning once again, and it's from Cynthia Icheme, and this is a one-stop breakfast program. Good morning, Abia, coming to you from your number one station right here in Abia, MCL Television, where we do the needful by bringing you updates on the news, tell you what's making the rounds, and also get you informed on the happenings around the world. Of course, we usually begin with our own very state, God's own state, Abia, because they say charity begins at home. That's our word. All right, before we begin to tell you what's making the rounds in the news, we usually go to the marble where we tell you, we get you inspired for the day. We get ourselves inspired daily by our daily quotes, which could be inspirational, motivational, and even spiritual. Sometimes, of course, right after that, we'll now take you into the news and tell you what the news have been since morning. And also, after that, we'll go on a break and get back to begin our newspaper review, and there we'll conclude our news bulletin. And after that, we'll take a break, but while you're on that break, we'll keep you company with our documentary. After that documentary, we get back to begin our discussion segment. This morning, we're going to be discussing, continuing on the looters, more names being shortlisted on the list of those who looted the national treasury. We continue to hope that you begin to join us at that point in time with the number which will be displayed on the screen. All right, they say first things first. Let's go straight to the marvel. Martin Luther King Jr., he says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. It's preaching love to you and I, to everyone, to all Abians. It's true, hatred. Of course, hatred is darkness. When you harbor hatred in your mind, your soul is darkened. But when you embrace love, you see love shining all over you, shining upon all you do. Transparency, quite transparent. Of course, love is transparent, and when you have love in you, people will also benefit from that. Just like when you are smiling or laughing, somebody by your side will be forced to begin to smile with you. Likewise, when you are crying, somebody unconsciously might begin to cry with you. So this morning, Martin Luther King Jr. is talking to you and I. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Light can do that. Even if you know that somebody hates you with passion, begin to continue to ignore that. Step on that hatred and show love. And with that, that hatred will be expelled. All right, and that is it from Martin Luther King, who is always talking about love. With that, we hope as true citizens of this great state, Abia, we continue to preach love, even to our detractors. We continue to show love, even to those who have decided, vowed to continue to hate us for no reason. There is no problem with that. But continue to show love, and love will surely win. All right, let's go straight to the news. Osinbajo says that Nigeria is on the path of resurrection and progress. And he made that remark in a chat with the State House correspondent shortly after the Easter service at Asura Villa, Abuja. He said the resurrection of Jesus Christ implied that the country was out of its present challenges to greater hope. Osinbajo said the resurrection of Jesus Christ is also a strong and powerful message to the nation. The message is that our nation is on the path of resurrection, is on the path of progress, and is on the path of elevation. He said the resurrection of Christ signified that darkness could only reign but for a while. He therefore called on all Nigerians to emulate the life of Jesus Christ, who sacrificed his life for the salvation of mankind. Christians in Nigeria on Sunday joined their counterparts all over the world to observe Easter and its celebrations. Easter, the principal festival of the Christian church here, celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ on the third day after his crucifixion. The occasion has attracted various remarks and pieces of advice from various leaders in the country on its importance and lessons derivable from it for individual spiritual upliftment and national development. In Umuahia, capital of Abia State, Governor Ikpeazu called on Christians to pray for wisdom for those in authority to enable them lead the people with the fear of God. Ikpeazu made a call in a statement signed by his chief press secretary, Mr. Enenaya Paris, on the commemoration of Easter in Umuahia. He urged Christians to follow the footsteps of Jesus Christ in making sacrifices for the good of others. Ikpeazu also called on Christians to renew their hope in God in the cause of celebrating this year's Easter. The governor also appealed to them to make necessary sacrifices to ensure peace and development in Abia State and the nation at large. The Ondo State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, wants passengers to caution drivers against reckless driving during and after the Easter period. The Deputy Sector Commander and Head of Operations, Mr. Olusegun Ogugbemide, says it is imperative for the FRSC to advise the public on the necessity of cautioning drivers against reckless driving in view of the spate of carnage on the road. Ogugbemide said the command had deployed men of the Corps to critical areas of the state, especially highways, to ensure smooth Easter celebration. Accordingly, the command has stationed emergency ambulances in such critical areas as Akure Owo and Ikare Akoko axis in case of crashes. He also said the command had removed vehicles parked on highways, asking that if there is anyone we have not removed, we are pleading with the public to reach out to us immediately. He announced that the command was carrying out Operation No Mercy to enforce traffic rules and regulations across the state. The federal government has released more lists of looters in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, saying that the list of alleged looters, which it released earlier, was based on verifiable facts, including the amount involved, the date the amount in question was collected, and from where it was taken. Releasing a fresh list of alleged looters in a statement issued on Sunday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, also said those complaining that the list was too short apparently did not understand that it was strategically released as a teaser. Alhaji Mohammed slammed the PDP for daring to challenge the federal government over an issue that the party knows is its weakness, looting of public treasury. The minister said the PDP's reaction to the looters list has shown that its recent apology is an election-induced act contrived to deceive unsuspecting Nigerians to vote for the party in the 2019 general election, even when it has not come clean on its looting spree during its time in office. Christians yesterday, Easter Sunday, celebrated Easter, which commemorates the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ. The event also coincides with April Fool's Day, which is observed annually every 1st of April. Some shared their experience with Chimezio Ozems regarding April Fool's Day. The report.
April Fool's Day, which is sometimes called All Fool's Day, is not a public holiday. It is a day people play harmless and practical jokes on each other. In all lands, the pranks and those that fall victim to it are known as April Fools. Those that engage in playing the jokes expose their pranks by shouting April Fool at their victims. In some cases, the jokes can be annoying and expensive. The jokes come to an end at midday. Although it has been celebrated for several centuries by people from different cultures, its origin remains a mystery. However, some historians think that the celebration of April Fool's Day dates back to 1582. It was a period when France changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. It was said that some French people were unable to recognize that the new year had shifted to 1st January and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through 1st April. Such people became the object of ridicule. The celebration did not get to Britain until the 18th century. In Nigeria, it is a day most people, especially children and young people, are always looking forward to. Some people in Oman have shared the experience of April Fool with MCL News.
I know that even at last year's April Fool, I was just dozing of fear. Somebody came to me that my parish priest is looking for me. And I think he was very calculative, that he knows once I'm told that my parish priest is looking for me, that I must be there.
As a catechist?
As a catechist. So, as soon as I heard that, I immediately dressed up and used my machine and zoomed off until I got there. Father told me that somebody said this, and he told me, "Oh, are you the only fool that is in Nigeria that doesn't know that
today is April
Fool's Day?"
Last year, my friend told me that he was coming from Lagos. I didn't know that he's not coming. Then he told me that he's on the way. I prepared for him, I cooked food for him. But all of a sudden, I didn't see him. I waited for him till night, I didn't see him.
And you called him later, he said April Fool.
Yes.
I remember sometime last 2 years, my uncle in US, he took me when I was one early morning. Then I was in Owerri. He gave me a call on my phone. He said, who's calling me? I don't know this number. When I picked the call, one of my cousins said, is brother okay? I said, which okay? He said, okay from US, I'm at the gate, open the gate for me. You know, I was highly amazed. I rushed down the staircase to open the gate. The house, when I opened it, I didn't see anybody. When I called back the number, the person said April Fool, and it was a very happy day for us.
The adherents of the Christian faith will no doubt remember that today is Easter Sunday. One wonders how many Nigerians will remember to play pranks on each other, considering the harsh economic climate in the country. It will be recalled that this is Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of the Lenten season, also coincided with St. Valentine's Day. Chimezie Ozems, MCL News.
Mixed reactions have continued to greet the recent release of the over 100 female students of Government Girls Science Technological College, Dapchi in Yobe State. The girls were allegedly abducted by Boko Haram insurgents from their school, and their return last week has continued to elicit reactions from a cross-section of Nigerians. The report.
Nigerians and indeed the world on Monday, the 19th of February, woke to another shocker after the 2014 adoption of the Chibok school girls. This time, it was the adoption of over 100 girls from the Government Girls Science Technical College, Dapchi in Yobe State. Unlike the fate of the Chibok girls, some of whom are still in captivity, their Dapchi counterparts has returned home barely 1 month into their adoption with the expectation of one Leah Sharibu, who is still being held for her failure to renounce her Christian faith. Their release came barely a week after President Muhammadu Buhari visited the school and assured parents of their adopted girls that everything was going to be done to secure their immediate release. It is based on this development that some Nigerians have expressed doubts over the genuineness of the said adoption and release of the girls.
There are some political undertakings behind those incidents, because come to think of it, how can somebody be kidnapped by a group of persons and later be released without any ransom whatsoever? I think there are certain things politically behind those things.
It's not real. When they adopt, because you cannot adopt a group like that, nobody will see you. Then after 1 month, you will bring them back without scratch, no nothing, with luggages and bags. It's like shock. They went on holidays. That is how I say it.
I think it's a bit political. I have to say this because Nigeria as a country is big and has come of age to have a fortified security. How would you suddenly come up to tell the populace that so number of children were kidnapped, and within a short period we saw them coming back with their bags? So looking at the whole scenario, it appears there is a kind of political undertone.
From the video clip we saw, you see the people rejoicing. These are the terrorists we've been looking for. When they bring these guys back, we are supposed to catch them. They are supposed to be apprehended by the police or the army. But you see the people rejoicing, dancing with them. Even the police, they said, no, that these people came around. We've been looking for these terrorists for a long time. Telling you that this is a political plot.
The respondents, however, feel happy that most of the girls have been returned to safety.
There are so many things we as private citizens, we do not know. There are so many secrets that are surrounding this present government. But whatever the case is, I feel the federal government should not toy with the lives of human beings. It is one of their primary duties to protect lives and properties. So for whether it is for political gain or for whatever reasons, we really thank God that these girls have been released, and they should take steps to ensure that such things do not occur in our history.
Although Nigerians have expressed themselves about the recent release of the schoolgirls, one question that must be asked is, when will Lee, Sharibu, and the remaining Chibok girls return to safety? Gloria Opara, MCO News.
And with that, we have come to the Good Morning Abia package of the news. We'll take a break, and when we get back to the time for us to review the papers, I'm talking about our newspaper review, and there we'll conclude our news bulletin for the One Star Breakfast program. Do stay tuned.
Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
that noise?
He disobeys a quick.
What did they happen?
Yeah, now they're gonna go so.
Okay, so
Okay, so.
Time to rebuild Abia. I urge you to set aside our differences so that together we can join hands and build the Abia of our dreams. Remember that my word is my bond.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Chukwu na-enye ka nri onye ọbụla. Chukwu na-enye ka nri onye ọbụla. Ọ na-enye ka ndị ọrụ bekee na-eri ikpege n'ọnwa n'ọnwa. Ọ na-enye o, ọ na-enye o, ọ na-enye o. Hello, my name is Buchi. Keep watching MCL TV and don't go away. Aye, God has given you victory. Aye, He has given you victory. Aye, God has given you victory. Aye, He has given you victory. What's up, people? It's your boy E-Ben, ministering to God's children, and you're watching MCL TV. Don't touch that dial. Peace. I love you.
MCL, the word in your home.
non-stop breakfast show on TV. one-stop breakfast show on TV.
Ah! What is that noise?
It is so busy quick.
DJ Mac, DJ Mac, DJ Mac, DJ Mac. What did they have?
Yeah, now they're gonna go.
Okay, so the light.
Okay, so.
Time to rebuild Abia. I urge you to set aside our differences so that together we can join hands and build the Abia of our dreams. Remember that my word is my bond.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
When you do that, you are done. You are ready to go. And we're using it. So when we start to get these large numbers, the first shipment of AK-47 to the SPLA, SPLM was from who? Guess who? The late Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. We are rebelling against the Arabs. And the first person to rush and give us AK-47 is another Arab leader. Yeah.
South Sudan. Hello, Juba, wherever place you are tuned. Today is a very special day, the 8th of July, and of course tomorrow our Independence Day, the day we have been waiting for. We will be a new nation. Tomorrow we shall be free from the Arabs, we shall be free from slavery. So I love to say, as you know, that we have been struggling for 4 generations. But I hope you guys are preparing. I know the temperatures today are a little bit hot, and of course tomorrow we shall be free at last.
It's been a long journey to get here today. For us as a country, and also at individual levels. Throughout the struggle, from 1955 to 2005, I have lost a lot of people. Almost all the male in my family have been lost through different battles, different engagements here and there, including my father with all three of his brothers, my brother, and a few cousins from both mom's side and my dad's side. Citizens of this country and make sure this country is prosperous, united and democratic. So this particular basketball team is special. The fact that it is the first to represent the country, the first player to put on a jersey, to put it on as the first captain of that goes down in history.
One, two, three. Rise up. I can't hear that. 1, 2, 3. Rise up. That's better.
Singing the national anthem of the old Sudan as we know it, because the next few hours we will have a new country. We'll be divided into two. That's it. That's the last time we're singing it is over. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.
first day they gave me one like this. Yeah, he gave me this one. He gave me this one. First November 1990. It was so heavy. But by the way, when I was doing the training, when I did the training, when the training is about to finish and then they give you the real guns to train with, while standing, I cannot do this while standing. It was too heavy. I could hold it like this up, but as soon as it reaches like this, my arm would go down. So what I would do is I would sit down like this on the ground and put that while sitting on the ground. And then when you are going to area your deployment, you get scared. People start farting. You know, you start like, guy, what's wrong with you? Nobody talks. Everybody's silent. Then you go to your deployment area. When you go into your trench or under your tree, you are deployed, you are scared. And then the Arabs start to come. Let's say you are the one setting the ambush. The Arabs start to come. And they come with a lot of cars and a lot of full armored, and you can hear them from far. Always is at night and you engage early in the morning. But as soon as the first bullet goes like this, that's it. You don't get scared. I love it. Freedom giver! Thanks to Mikhail Kalashnikov. It's crazy, man. How would you design a gun like this? This gun, if you find somebody that has been shot by AK-47 on the ground, you will think this person has been hit by a truck. Man, this guy, man, his design are good. For poor people like us. It's not sophisticated. It doesn't have the night, all this stuff, or silencers or anything. But it just kills. Yeah? It just kills. You just aim at direct that direction and just shoot 4 bullets in that direction. Bang, 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 bang. Somebody goes, oh, motherfucker, bang, bang, bang.
This is my land. Stay out of it. Stay in the north. Better for you. They didn't care when they died. They postponed the game today because the Ugandan side, they wanted the Basketball Federation president to attend the game, and he's not here. So he's going to fly in tomorrow. This is now the same with number 10, not number 11. This is Juba. So when you're in Juba, you're expecting it. So playing the game the same place, number 1, 10 times. After the game, even though 2 minutes were not, we're just going to have a party. We're going to create a party. If you lose, some of you will go and cry, right? Some of you will go for their girlfriends, whatever. You know? But if you win, we have a good time. You know, we can win. Are you ladies sure you will? No. Ladies, are you sure? Who did win? special program today. After the independence, the North has been giving us a lot of stress. Now it's about the oil now. They need a lot of money to be paid for the oil to pass in their land, what we call oil transit. But the government of South Sudan is not willing to pay a lot of money. South Sudan depends mostly on the oil, you know. Roads, salary, hospitals is being financed by the oil revenue. So we need some from you. We shut down the oil, or what should our government do? We'll be willing to hear from you, pick some of your calls. Anyway, we need to hear from you. CD. I think here it's okay. I could launch it from here. I can aim at my house. I can see stuff in my house there. No, this whitish building, go to the left a little bit. There is this thing. All this construction here. They're all in the last 5 years. The Sudan government do not want to build anything. They want resources in the south, oil, gold, uranium, limestone, agricultural land. So they want the resources, but they don't want the people who own the resources. They're imperialistic. So we refuse to be second-class citizens in our own country. The war never stopped until we separated. I have my own country now. It's my own. You can never. This is the only country you can build. If you are part of building it, you're part of history. As somebody who has seen the worst of this war, I had a chance to have my education outside. I was in Australia for 8 years. And my house was a beautiful house, just on the beach, with a nice car, a good job. The university which I think wanted to employ me. Beautiful. But it's not the country. So I'd rather take my chances here. Our problem is that our democracy is still young. It can easily fall back, and people can start fighting. Fight for resources, fight for control. It's the same. It's the same. Fight of ideology. The current crop of leaders are former generals, and they are militaristic in mind. If they fight it out in a democratic way, good. And if they sink to their tribal groupings and pick up arms, then I don't think we'll have a country. I don't think we'll have a country. Yeah, we can tear it down easily.
Facing the Ugandan team this afternoon, what do we have exactly? If we stay as a unit, we can beat any team. I already heard that Ugandan is scared of us because of our size, things like that. But we're going to beat them. And then they come to us and tell us, you have to play with discipline, sportsmanship. You are representing our country, so you must play with discipline. Don't push the Ugandan. If they push you, don't push them back. What are we playing, chess? Is it a game of chess? The chess is the way you sit on the other side of the table and you don't touch anybody. This is a contact game, you know. It's a violent dance. Some American coach put it. Basketball is a violent dance. So, you can't put me in a place and then say, don't shoot. Go into the battle. If they shoot you, just dodge, don't shoot back. Come on, now just leave me in the house.
We are going to have a team of Uganda and South Sudan playing a test match. This is the first time such event has happened, and all this because of the independence of South Sudan. This is only the beginning. We all know that South Sudan has been closed from the outside world for so many years.
Possession of the ball. Who catches the ball? And he got it. Again, possession of the ball. He tries. Unlucky. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the timeout. And as we go
You got to control yourself. Those people are faster, so we want to run now.
Okay? Shooting in there is just too many coaches at the moment. This is just fucking up the game. They just have one coach. We cannot understand all this bullshit. What is all these coaches for? Let's go. Fourth. You got it, man. You got it.
Flip it 9. Music. And number 11 from Uganda, that's Robert. Now he goes for the free throw. There's a foul, number 17. Possession of the ball right now. Stop. Less than 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Less than 5 seconds.
Lost by 1 basket. The coach is not here, okay? And there's no basketball federation person here, okay? So we are just actually talking to ourselves, okay? So that we can take control of our game. The coach is not going to do it for us. He's not going to do it. And I don't trust that coach cannot get influence from these people, okay? How many substitutions were made outside coach's knowledge? It was a zoo. That coaching place was a zoo. Like monkeys jumping up and down, and now they say the players. You know, we want a meeting where whatever they were saying, they need to say it while we are here.
That's what I was.
And then we have to respond, and they have to listen. But they are scared.
Yep. We could all sit down and tell a girl as money, we're not playing for the national team again. It's very easy. We have a school, people have lives, these people are quitting. We could all say we don't want to play basketball. As they took you in a basketball team, they have to treat us like slaves. Huh? We have to stand up for our rights.
Let's leave what happened behind. Let's start refocusing and make sure that we correct those things in the game. All these mistakes, they're not happening in the sports alone, they're happening everywhere in the country. And if we all give up, our country is not moving anywhere. We always have to have the resilience, always bounce back, come back, until something changes. Okay? And I believe something is going to change.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
You're welcome back. It's still your breakfast program, Good Morning Abia from MCL Television. And this is a segment where we take a look at the papers. I'm talking about our newspaper review. This morning I'm being joined by Michael Ofonye, Programs Manager, MCL Television. Good morning, Michael. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, Zinja. It's nice to be with you here, especially to all viewer back at home. We'll say Happy Easter to you.
All right. Let's take a look. We're going to start as usual with the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun this morning, of course, promises very, very interesting headlines, beginning from the top right. Okorocha, another Catholic priest fights. Imo government has failed me. God has failed me, God, says Archbishop. You need fresh anointing, says CPS. Please, these are more you have to capture on page 39. Go there and unravel the rest of the story. And stepping down, we are meeting a Kachi headline as Information Minister releases second batch. Federal government lists Ihejirika, Desiani, Diko, Dasuki as looters. And the banner there says, puts alleged looted funds at 226 billion naira. That's $3.6 billion and 5.5 million pounds. And it said nobody on the list has been convicted, says PDP. ADP, lawyer, others also react. Very, very interesting. Please capture the stories on page 4. And beneath, of course, goes with it several pictures of the mentioned names. We can see beginning with the face of Dasuki, Alison Madreke, that's Desiani, then Jan, Ihejirika, Diko, Ladoja. Alright, please, the stories, like we said earlier, go to page 4 and get the rest of the gist. And the next beneath there, we can see names of, that's beside it, names of alleged looters, still on the story. Sambo Dasuki, you see the amount. Desiani Alison Madweke, Lieutenant General Kenneth Minmo, General Azubike Hejirika, Alex Bade, Inde Diko, Air Marshal Adeshola Amoshu, Senator Bala Abdulkadiri, Senator Stella Odua, ex-Governor Babangida Aliyu, ex-Governor Jonah Jang, and Bashir Yunuga. These and more you capture on page 4. And beneath we see Buhari Senate in fresh trial over 4.21 trillion naira bond request. That story you capture in details on page 2. Federal government probes PDP foreign firm over Buhari's email. The banner there says APC chasing shadows. Opposition has said. Please, that story, go to page 6. You are in safe hands with Wike, Deputy Governor tells Rivers people. That story captured on page 4, page 40. And with that, we go to the back page. On the back page, we are hearing from Kashmir Ibukwe, who writes on Buhari and the fate of Nigeria's cockroach. Capture that story on page 47. And on 46, don't blame Moses for Spurs' defeat. Don't blame Moses for Spurs' defeat, says Conte. And that's for sports. And beneath there we see public forum from Charles Dixon. Charles Dixon writes, 2015, Buhari and promises broken. Of course, there is the face of President Muhammadu Buhari. And I'll read out a little bit of this column which says, all the hype and excitement have not rewarded citizenry with a responsive government and leaders that feel the pulse of the governed. That's on the back page of the Daily Sun this morning. All right, that's it.
All right, just quickly, let's take you straight to the Nation newspaper. And of course, the Nation newspaper comes up with, on the left top corner of the paper, plots to suspend Magu uncovered. Plots to suspend Magu uncovered. And quickly, underneath that is Osubanjo, Nigeria on the path of resurrection. And of course, that's a picture of Pope Francis baptizing in Nigeria, John Francisco Oga, doing solemn Easter vigil ceremony at St. Peter's Vatican, at the Vatican City yesterday. And quickly, 2 ex-governors, senators, orders on the list of 23 looters. 2 ex-governors, senators, orders on the list of the 23 looters. Who is who on the list? So if you need to find out who the looters, I would advise you get yourself the Nation newspaper. And of course, let me just quickly give you one of the names of the senators, the alleged looter from the Minister for Information, talking about Lai Mohammed, given the list. And of course, it comes with the former Plateau State Governor, Senator Jonah Jang, former Plateau State Governor, taking 12.5 billion naira. Cynthia, of course, this will also be forming our discussion this morning. 12.5 billion naira. All right, and of course, still the man on all the papers this morning talking about Lai Mohammed, and it says, did the PDP actually believe that the massive looting under his watch is an April Fool? All right, this is good from our discussion for today. And quickly, let me take you to the back page of the Nation newspaper this morning. It comes from Sam Omotoshe in Touch. And of course, it says, a politician again. And of close to that, it says, hell has no fury. And of course, if you need to find what Simon Motoshe is talking about, a politician, again, we advise you to get yourself the Nation newspaper. And let's quickly kind of give you, spice up your day with this comic. And it's coming from Ripples. Police officer Ibrahim accused in Apple 6 killings. Decorated news. Decorated with what? Scores? All right. And Hardball comes up with a change that changes nothing. A change that changes nothing. All right, Cynthia, what's the next paper on the list?
All right, the next paper is, as usual, the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph. On the top there, we have Nigeria's oil field capex projections hit $48.04 billion. And the banner there says, investors await Buhari's assent on PIGB. Please, that story you can capture on page 7. As we step down to meet 4 picture elements, beginning with that of Eberi. Eberi tipped to replace Udige Oyegun. And that's on page 10 for more of that. It's followed by that of Babangida. We have overstayed in power. IBB tells contemporaries. All right, remember IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. All right, I'll capture that story on page 7. As we go to 10 to meet, Senate begins amendment of income tax relief laws. Of course, it goes with the face of Saraki. And it's followed by Fayemi. Fayemi joins Ekiti Guba race. Capture the story on page 33. You find out more on Fayemi. And we will leave that to meet Luther's list. Luther's list. Federal government releases 23 more names. Lawyers, NEF, others fault government. APC plans arrest of media, PDP chiefs, says PDP. Oshibajo, Nigeria on the path of resurrection and progress. Okay, finish the story on pages 5 and 7. And beneath we see very colorful picture elements. Lagos State Governor, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, middle there with a baby and fun seekers at the JJT Park, Alaosa Ikeja. And this happened yesterday. And the second picture, Archbishop of Ibadan Catholic Church, Gabriel Abeguri, during a procession to mark the Easter Sunday. All right, this happened yesterday. I'll urge us to take your time and read that story. And there's still another catchy headline on the front page of the New Telegraph. Buhari probes foreign interference in elections. Buhari probes foreign interference in elections. And the banner says PDP wants investigation into APC's campaign funds. Right, that story can capture in full on page 6 with the last on the front page here on health. New drug shows promise for all malaria elimination. New drug shows promise for malaria elimination. That's a nice one there. And please capture that story on page 10 as we go to the back page of the New Telegraph. On the back page, we of course, remember we read What's a Marble from MCL TV, but this one is on Marble from New Telegraph. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And it's coming from Helen Keller this morning. And leaving Helen Keller is Amazing Joshua wants Wilder fight this year. Remember the boxing winner, Amazing Joshua wants Wilder fight this year. Capture that on page 37 as we step down to meet Bola Tinubu, guest columnist this morning, and he writes on investing in people a more accurate perspective. And he goes with it, the face of the #1 citizen of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. I'll read out quickly of a bit of this column which says, any responsible government and society must heavily invest in those things that promise economic prosperity and employment. This is the primary challenge government must meet. All right, this coming from Baba Tinubu. And leaving Baba Tinubu this morning is High Chief. 2019 Obasanjo IBB's letters can't stop Buhari. APC, says Tinubu. All right, and the response where the fund usually is, yes, only the people's votes can. All right, and that is that. Microphone. Before we leave the stage on this review, can you tell us the one that caught your attention?
Well, I think all the papers this morning basically came up with the same headline, and of course still talking about what the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, gave, talking about the looters, and some other names are popping up on the list. But like we've discussed on this program, and I'm sure that's going to be your topic for today as well, talking about the looters. But one of the first things I would really want to ask, if I have the opportunity to talk to the minister, and the first question would have been better to have brought this list before now, because Nigerians are not going to take it too serious, and I'll give you my reasons why Nigerians would take it too serious. Yes, because a few months from now, barely less than a year, election is going to start popping up. And people were going to see this as a way of trying to give APC an urge. And of course, the urge that the Nigerians want to see is a change that we all have advocated for. I'm not holding brief to say the names of the looters should not be published. It is good for us to know that these are the people, or the alleged looters, because it has not been given 100% confirmation, but of course I'm very sure that the minister did his research and would have gotten all the information and before giving out these names. And of course we saw 2 days ago Secondus saying he's going to go to the court and he deserves an apology and he wants the minister to take back. And so let's see how it plays out. But looting, if you ask me, is not new to Nigerians. I'm very sure that even a 12-year-old child that is very current understands that anybody that gets into power in Nigeria wants to loot. But the bottom line is, Abacha looted.
Yeah.
And it was and all the money, or the assumed money that was stashed out of this country, were asked to be brought back. Some country assisted, and some of those money were brought back to the country. What impact did that do? Some of the money that was brought back was used to assist the budget. And of course, when you give out the budget, some other people will take back that money as well. So you see, it is like a recycling thing.
It is.
So I think I'm speaking as a Nigerian right now, even though I don't have so much say on this, but I think what Nigeria wants is the government needs to do what they need to do. And what they need to do is provide what they have promised Nigerians. Well, if you want to go through the list for verification for those back home, Sabo Dansoki, 126 billion naira, over $1.5 billion, and 5.5 pounds. Desiane Alison Madueke, 23 billion.
Who has always been on the front runner.
And you see, I was wondering, I was just taking a second look at these, and I asked myself, if truly, let's give a benefit of doubt, if truly that these people took this money, what are you going to do with 23 billion? What are you going to do with it? And I think PDP needs to react. Well, thank God that Sir Moses Obona is also going to be on your program. And I think PDP needs to say something.
They really need to say something.
Because what would somebody be doing with 23.3 billion?
Yeah.
And the funny part of it is that, why can't all this money, imagine if truly that all this money was touched out of the country, was looted out of the country. Why not invest this money in this country?
Into the country. I remember you said, what would anybody be doing with such great sums of money?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Forgotten that man's desire and needs and whatever is quite insatiable.
Yeah, I agree. You can never be contented. But let me tell you where it comes in. When you put the smiles on the face of people, that is the satisfaction you get.
Like Dangote did.
That is the satisfaction you get. Employ, build companies, keep building, keep giving out. Do you think Bill Gates does not have cousins or nephews or these? Did you see what he said?
Exactly.
He has given 126 point something billion he has invested in Nigeria. So you think Bill Gates does not have any family member? But his satisfaction comes when he sees the smile on the face of the people around. So I think, election, it's closer.
By the door.
And let's see what the campaign is. I just can't wait to see politicians tell us the manifestos and the blueprints, and I'll look straight to the eyes of people and say, but we're advising the people should go out and get the PVC and get ready. Let's make the choice that we really want to make. And somebody has said that what happens if it doesn't go the way Nigerians are predicted. I said that's not true. It can happen in any other African country, not Nigeria. We've gone past that stage. Nigerians will stand for the rights, and they will definitely get it.
Of course, and we pray for that.
And because I mean, Goodluck Jonathan was defeated while he was the serving president, while he was still on the seat, and he knows that he couldn't do much because Nigerians had said this is what we want, and we're saying if we could take back power, if we could make our choice. No, what I'm trying to say is that we'll always stand. Nigerians will always stand for what they believe in. And I believe that it shouldn't be party. I sincerely want to say that one of our greatest problems, or one of our greatest challenges, is that Nigerians look into party, and the time has come for us to look at individuals.
Exactly.
What is his pedigree? Where is it coming from? What has it done?
What can he offer?
What can he offer? Is he a man of his word? Has he been able to lead? I mean, it shouldn't just be party. I want to see where Mr. A is campaigning and has got a very good pedigree, and the man coming from Mr. B, it might be very popular, might have seen power before, but doesn't have what it takes.
And the people say, no, we don't want this.
We don't want that. And one of the greatest problems with a politician is that some people do not have a clear cut of what they want to achieve, and that's a problem.
That's our problem. Anyway, on the issue of the names release, I wasn't saying much because that's exactly what's going to form a topic for discussion shortly after now. But I've seen Buhari. You remember when he said that we want a new generation leaders. He has also reiterated it here again. He has said we have overstayed in power. IBB tells compatriots. You remember when he said, I'm stepping aside? And since he stepped aside...
Well, I think that'll be a discussion for another day, so we could allow your guests to come in. But the truth of the matter remains that also the youth needs to do a lot. I'm sure that, well, the youth are just standing by and we keep talking and we're not involved in it. For you to make an impact, you need to get involved in it. If the youth believes that the youth should be about, power should go to the youth, we should also try to get involved in politics. And that's the way we get it right. Not just stand as a spectator and you criticize and you don't get involved in it. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. All right. Well, with that, that's the much we can take on our newspaper review because of our time, so we can begin our discussion. We hope you're going to join us shortly as we're going to talk about the more 23 names released by the Minister Lai Mohammed, the people that looted the National Treasury. All right. Join us shortly and keep staying tuned.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
For inquiries and booking, contact Address Hotel and Suites at number 18 Opobo Road, Obo Hill, Aba. Telephone 081 000 00895 or 081 000 00896. Address, the pride of hospitality and tourism.
Have you heard of Prescal World and Heaven Options Limited? Prescal is a home of direct image right here in Abia. Why go to Lagos or Port Harcourt for your direct image jobs? Come to Prescal World and Heaven's Options located at number 145 Azikwe Road, Abia for perfect cover page, journals, magazines, brochures, and flyers. We also offer printing services in digital flex and billboard, window graphics, posters, stickers, heat transfers, ID cards, complimentary cards, monogram, and car branding. Heaven Options offer you entertainment services like event management, ambulance services with well-dignified undertakers. We can also boast of 3 months ordinary program in computer training, 6 months certificate in computer training, and 1 year advanced certificate in computer training. Why not visit Prescal and experience that quality jobs? For inquiries, call 080-3322-6115, 070-4024-7196, 070-8469-8165.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world where people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, then go talk. Wetin make we do for this world? I say make we dey do the things wey we carry for heart. Na so world want am. Abi no be so?
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCL TV.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
All right, you are welcome back. In case you are just joining us, this is a breakfast program, Good Morning Abia, from MCL Television. Now, this is our discussion segment where we discuss a very important topic. And this morning, we are going to be looking at the more list shortlisted by Lai Mohammed, Information and Culture Minister, where he brought out 23 more names added to the previous 6 that was out before. Before we go along with that discussion, let me give a very brief background to that. The federal government on Sunday released additional 23 new names of alleged treasury looters, including former governors of Plateau, Niger and Oyo, Jonah Yang, Babangida Aliyu and Rashid Ladoja, respectively. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, in a statement issued in Lagos, said the new list and the one earlier released were not arbitrary, but based on verifiable facts. The statement was signed and made available to newsmen by Mr. Shegu Adeyemi, the special advisor to the minister. Recall that at a press conference in Lagos on Friday, Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, said the identities of looters were unveiled as a result of the challenge of PDP to name the looters under their watch. Lai Mohammed further said that the starting point in rendering an apology is for the PDP to return the loots. The Vice President had also earlier said that the present government would continue to talk about the corruption under PDP for as long as possible. He said this while speaking at Bola Tinubu's 10th colloquium. However, it was the spokesman of PDP, Kola Ologbondia, who had asked the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to either name those accused of being corrupt or keep quiet. And that forms a background to this topic, and I'm going to be discussing this, doing justice to this topic, with a legal practitioner and a human rights activist in the person of Barrister St. Moses, who is also PDP Organizing Secretary, even as we await the arrival of other guests. Sir, good morning and welcome to
Good morning, Cynthia. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I hope your name didn't make the list.
Unfortunately, I am not a politician. All right, sir, you heard the background. What can you make out of the new list and the previous one?
I have not seen those lists, and I do not need a soothsayer to say that the names on the list,
okay,
maybe names of PDP people.
Yes, sir. We have some of the faces on the screen. You still see Desiane there. You see Babandi there. You see a host. You see Dasuki there. A host of
those are PDP people who refuse to decamp to APC. You see, let me tell you, when you talk about looting, the American Arms Organization says that it is a bad carpenter that always blames his tools.
Okay, so you said it's about PDP members who refuse to decamp to APC. Which are you trying to say that
it's only the only way, that is the only weapon APC has to fight PDP, and not to move the state for the federal government forward. You see, this nation needs a party that is like PDP, has programs, has the wherewithal to move the state forward. Not ones that will lament for 3 years now. If PDP had looted, APC has not come out to tell us that why they have failed to perform. It's because these PDP people looted. They have not told us the impact, the effect, the loot of the PDP people who failed to decamp has on their administration. Why they cannot have any program, why they cannot move forward, why they are using henchmen to slaughter people. Are they after the PDP people who looted? Are they the people that are being slaughtered? Why they are unable to stop Boko Haram they promised? Why they are unable to reduce the cost of fuel from 97 naira from the regime of those who looted? We were buying fuel 97 naira. Now that the looting has stopped, according to them, we now buy fuel at 145 naira. APC has not told us why they are finding it difficult to move this ship forward. Only coming to lament that PDP stole. It is not today that we've been hearing about looters. Thank God they know them. They know what course to take. Ordinary citizens cannot do anything. They should go to court with them.
All right.
Convict them. Now, and not every day you come on television and the radio and on the pages of the newspaper and say, we don't catch the thieves. We don't catch the thieves. Did you come to power to catch thieves? Is that why you come to power? Is that why the Nigerians voted for you? All this song about looting can only come from people who don't have anything to do.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Moses Obona. Now that you have talked about courts, I will remember that Uche Secondus 3 days ago had told Lai Mohammed that if he did retract his statement within 48 hours, that he was going to go to court. What can you say about it? Do we expect the two men now going to court just recently? Do you anticipate Uche Secondus taking Lai Mohammed?
If you tarnish my image, I assume.
Okay.
I don't joke with my passion. You can say anything about me. Propaganda, that's fine. But when you pin it down to dishonesty, which I know I am not, my brother will take you to court.
All right, Uche Secondus said that, don't you think that the 48 hours had expired before now?
You don't block suit from leaf 3.
Okay, tell us what
there are procedures.
All right.
You will give them notice to retract, give them period of retraction. Where they fail, then embark on preparing the suit, then filing, serving, before it is properly before the court. So many people think that when you give the notice, if you quickly do not go to court, that they matter. I tell you, I have 13 people are going to sue in 13 different courts. I've given one person 100 million each of them for daring to go on radio to say I'm a criminal. I gave them letter to retract, they refused. It does not matter whether it takes me 1 year, I will finish 13 of them in 13 courts.
Okay, you are saying that all these things have
It's a process, it's a procedure.
All right.
When they finish it, they will go to court. There is no time limit given that immediately after the retraction notice, you must file. No.
All right, it is now time for you out there to join this discussion. The federal government has released names of alleged looters, 23 more names. What do you think about the list? What can you tell us? Any advice to the government, to Secondus, or to APC or PDP? We want you to tell us what you think on the topic. All right, and even as we are doing that, there's a number shortly to appear on the screen, which you can give us a call and tell us what you think. All right, Barrister Moses, most Nigerians have said that the list, the time of the coming of this list is most very untimely. So what can you say about that?
You see, APC has nothing to offer, and they are aware of it. They have not told us, like I said, why we are where we are now. So the only attraction they have, the thing they can get from the public, is by making noise about leaders. The choice of every politician who wants to do anything, it's easier for you to come in as a new person than when you are returning as one who has been tested. If we have an electoral system where rigging will be eradicated, you see that most people who are in government now will find it very difficult to come back, because many of them failed the people. And they took it for granted that the era of rigging, era of impunity, and the era of this thing is still there with us. No. Imposition, you can no longer do imposition. If you impose any candidate on the people will wait for you at the polls, because you can no longer carry ballot boxes and run away. If you are running away, we will use our handset to picture you when you are running with those boxes. So we don't need those evidences that are lacking in court. Will no longer be there. So when you cannot run, when you cannot perform, the best thing for you is to find something to say, to give us an excuse, like the APC do. Their only excuse for non-performance is maybe people looted the treasury.
Hello? I'm sorry to hello? All right, please go ahead and keep calling.
That is why they have chosen now. And what they are doing may yield to anarchy. Because APC is choosing the juicy members of PDP to attack. When you say Uche Secondus, who is the chairman, national chairman of PDP, looted.
I'm sorry to interject you again. Let's take this number one call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning, and thank you for calling. Please lower the volume of your television set so we can hear you very well. Your name and location, please. All right, thank you for calling. What's your opinion on the topic? Affiliation by our conscience. Sir, can you react to what all he had just said?
I really didn't understand what he was talking about. Except he's saying that AP, the panel has to be balanced so that the APC will be allowed to.
He further said that it's not just about mentioning the names. What are they really going to do about it?
That is what I said. They have the option of taking them to court. I was here when the Zeni applied to come back to Nigeria to defend herself. They refused. So how do you just convict people by mentioning their names?
Okay, so that's a very big question hanging in the air. Let's see this man. Hello, good morning. Please, if you want us to have your call, do well to lower the volume of your television set so we can hear you properly. All right, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you see, like he said, I am a PDP person, but I'm a Nigerian, and I'm a person. For instance, in Abia, we saw what Abia was like before Kezi Bazu came back. While campaigning, Uchendo, who handed over to him, says, Abba people, I will give you somebody who will come and repair Abba.
People say, no, you cannot do it. Okay, Zekeme. What are we saying today? People are saying, why are you not after Theology? Theology looted the fund. Theology did this. A man who has made his promise, who knows where he is going, does not look back. Does not look back. Okezie has come to repair, and that's exactly what he is doing. So, chasing shadows that because he could not perform, why he did not perform is that the one Theology's 1 billion thousand naira was found in one account for 3 years. That's why he did not perform. Certainly he knows I will look him in the eyes and say, my friend, you don't have anything to do. The same way we are telling APC, you don't have anything to do.
All right, let's take this caller. Okay, sorry, we lost it.
So, if APC keep complaining about those who looted, is it the same thing that looted that caused the Python dance here? That's the only thing they could do. Coming here to shoot youths. After killing them, you go back and they brandish them terrorists. The same law you used to brandish IPO terrorists.
Okay, I'm sorry, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the program. Hello, good morning. Your name? Yes, this is Good Morning, Abia. You're welcome, sir.
Okay. I've had briefly on your conversation today.
Okay.
And as a true Nigerian, I don't really believe in party affairs. Let us look at what the names federal government are blowing released as lookers. And do them scientifically. Because we don't supposed to bring anything about whether APC or PDP. If you are really fighting for the general interest of this nation, we want to look strictly on the concrete lookers and look at it. Because all these people we are hearing on daily basis, and it's a money game, this, those money are so huge, and it was allegedly done. So PDP or not PDP, in short, we don't have to look about PDP or APC on this particular issue. Let us look at it. I'm not like to get this one back. PDP on the two days, your president, he's talking about it's trying to put the back in party PDP. That's supposed to be. As a matter of fact, APC or PDP don't supposed to exist anybody because they are very this nation. So APC is not in these 3 years. For me, the way I built my own, I would have allowed APC to run to finish their own 4 years, and I'll be able to accept them. But no, with the few I've seen now, they are not capable. As well as PDP. So PDP and APC are not supposed to be in existence. So all we're supposed to do now, without any party or whatever, let us look strictly on all these students. And as soon as people get active. Thank you very much. This is my opinion.
Thank you very much.
You see,
if you listen, you can see that most of the guests are talking about stepping outside the partisan stuff and going individual.
You see, let me tell you. In logic, you draw circles and begin to segment those circles to find out to say, these big circles are criminals. Anybody inside this circle are criminals. Then you come to circle half of this, bigger part of this into the circle. Any part that comes in finds himself as a criminal. We are saying, we are not in support of people who looted. Okay. But when the campaign of looting is now as a weapon to discredit a party. Remember that PDP was in government till 2016. There was a crisis in PDP where nearly half of the PDP people left and joined APC. Many of them are still there now, forming 80% of what you have now as APC. We're PDP people. State governors, ministers, senators, all that. we are saying. If you are sincere about the corruption and we are not using it as a weapon, when you say PDP people looted, it includes the PDP people that are in APC now. Because at the time they looted, was at the time they were PDP.
Okay, so let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, we can hear you. Please, your name and location.
Yeah,
All right, thank you, Eze, for calling. What do you have on the topic?
The former governor, he committed any project in Abia. In the case, if it is, let's tell us. The appropriate, he was opposite in Anambra State. When you reach Anambra, everywhere is protest, no disturbance, no armed robber. I mean, we can't talk peace. So there's some problem on peace.
Mr. Eze, I want to ask you a question, please. Do you know that the current administration in Anambra of Obiano did not inherit any infrastructural decay from the past governor, unlike what we have in Abia State? Hello, Eze? So there's no way there's no way you can compare Anambra with Abia State, because you know Anambra Obiano did not inherit any infrastructural decay from his predecessors. So when you look at Abia, you know that Abia inherited a lot of infrastructural decay from the past governors.
Yes, it is not from PDP. All these problems are not from PDP. All the problems are from PDP. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You see, let me tell you. I know that PDP had a government in Akwa Ibom. And Akwa Ibom is still number one in infrastructure building. So, when you are talking about Lagos, Akwa Ibom never inherited any infrastructure from any government.
Because Abia.
While in Lagos, the whole federal might was sunk in Lagos. So what we are seeing APC government doing in Lagos is just upgrading what has been in place by the military, even by the civil government. But if you say PDP is bad, now everybody knows that Okeze's PDP is good. Do we now generally condemn Okeze's PDP because he inherited a government you do not accept as being good? No. You look at the individuals and their performance before you say the party. What we are saying is that 3 years is enough for APC to begin to show why they changed. They didn't change because there was corruption. At the time before they came in, fuel was 97 naira. Dollar was how much? Not up to 300 and something that we have it today. So if you say APC should go, PDP should go, there should be a new party, give me sufficient reason why PDP should go. Simply because APC said they are looters. At the time we are lamenting today because of the decaying nature of the economy brought about by APC. Without they have now passed 5,000 naira, 5% tax on fuel. Very soon, fuel will be increased. APC, is that PDP? Is that the looted fund by PDP?
All right, thank you very much, Barrister St. Moses Obona. Unfortunately, because of time, that is the much we can take on that discussion. We continue tomorrow on the same topic. And of course, we'll end the discussion segment. But Good Morning, Abia. Continue shortly after now with Kepon Gabriel on sports. Do stay tuned.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
A very good morning to you, sport fans, and of course, welcome to today's edition of your favorite program, Good Morning Abia, the sports segment. At the time where we take you around the world of sport, from athletics to football. You can always get the update on your number one station, MCN, and my name is Kekon Gabriel. Without taking much of your time, we are going to be going straight into what we have for you today. Don't forget that man Anthony Joshua was in the ring on Saturday, beating his opponent there. I was talking about Joseph Parker, and the coach of the Super Eagles to return to Nigeria, and of course keep watching the Nigerian Professional Football League, where our number one story won't be starting with the Joshua fight. We are going to be starting with the Nigerian Professional Football, where the news before me here this morning is that Nigerian coach Kenneth Rowe will soon return to Nigeria to be watching the Nigerian Professional Football League matches in order for him to pick fresh legs into the Nigerian national team. Don't forget that the two friendly matches that Nigeria played against Poland and of course Serbia are part of the team's preparation ahead of the World Cup, and haven't discovered some lapses in the current crop of players. The Franco-German soccer tactician will be told will return to Nigeria very soon. That is according to information emanating from those who should know, and they of course inform your channel of sport that is talking about MCL Sport, that the man will soon return to Nigeria. And as soon as he returns, he will begin to go from match venue to match venue in order to get the needed players to beef up that team. If you look at that game against Serbia, mostly you will agree with me that the midfield wasn't connecting, neither did the defense live up to their billing. Don't forget that Nigeria has set for themselves a target of reaching the quarterfinals of the Mundial. The first time we'll be doing that, will they be able to do that with the current crop of players? And that is why the coach of the Super Eagles, Kenneth Rowe, has said that as soon as he returns to Nigeria, he will begin to, of course, tour match venues to get new legs, where we go to see him bring more players to, of course, the game in the Super Eagles. We're away from football now. Don't forget that the Commonwealth Games is just around the corner. We are going to be telling you that the president of the Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria, that is talking about the powerlifting, her name is Queen Ubo. That woman has promised, of course, to give each athlete in the powerlifting 50,000 naira from her personal income in any medal, they will be winning out there in good cause. Don't forget that Nigeria's medal has always come from our powerlifters, and their coach Queen Ubo, has of course promised to make them smile if they of course make a podium finish out there in good cause. Australia, don't forget that the 23rd edition of the Commonwealth Games will be taking place in Gold Coast, Australia, and that woman said that the power lifters have always been good ambassadors of the country, and I am sure you would agree with that because they have always made Nigeria proud, and we hope to see them continue in that fashion. For that reason, they are going to be pocketing 50,000 naira each in every gold medal that they win. That is according to their coach Queen Ubo. Where we go over now away from powerlifting to wrestling and still talking about the Commonwealth Games, where the Nigerian Wrestling Federation said they have received kit from sport kit producer that is talking about the Adidas ahead of the Commonwealth Games, that is talking about the product they will be using out there at the Commonwealth Games. Don't forget that the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, over the weekend released the list of players to the media, those that will be representing the country in that category. I've been told that some of the items delivered to them out there in Yenegua, the Baisa State capital, included of course boxing boot. We also have a singlet, we have a ear guard, and of course a knee pad. Those are some of the facilities given to them. The kit they will be using out there in Australia. We've been told that this is part of the sponsorship agreement struck between the sport kit producers and of course the Nigerian Wrestling Federation. All this is geared towards ensuring that Team Nigeria to that game, of course, not just make the numbers but make a podium finish at the end of the day. Well, away from that one now, we go over to the big issue. Anthony Joshua, that man is in the news for the good reasons. Of course, that over the weekend he saw off the challenge being posted by his opponent, that is talking about Joseph Parker. And the news before MCS Sport News Desk this morning is that the promoter Barry Hem, expect the negotiations for a world heavyweight unification between Deontay Wilder and of course Anthony Joshua to commence next week. Don't forget that Joshua achieved a 10-12 victory over his opponent out there at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff on Saturday, and that man will now be looking to face the American that is talking about Deontay Wilder, and their promoter that is talking about Barry Hem, who will be spearheading the negotiations, have said that they hope to begin negotiations in a big fight come next week. Will Wilder become the man to stop Joshua, or will that man make it 22 out of 22? He has fought 21 professional fights and winning all of them. What a record there for that man. The man also have a Nigerian lineage coming from Ogun State, so the Nigerian flag will always be flying high whenever that man Joshua stepped into the ring to do what he knows how to do best. And I can assure him that from MCS Sport Decks and of course the sport fraternity in Nigeria, we are always behind him whenever he attempts to achieve success. Well, this is where we are going to be trying the curtains on today's edition of your favorite program, Good Morning Abia, the sports segment. God's willing, as this program returns tomorrow, Kekong will always be on ground to bring you up to speed with the latest happening from that part of the world where there are no moment.
All right, thank you very much, Kekong Gabriel. Indeed, you can agree with us that there are no dull moments in the world of sports, all entertainment and enjoyment galore. And with that, we draw the curtains this morning on One Stop Breakfast program, Good Morning Abia from MTL TV. Promising tomorrow more interesting package coming your way on this same channel. Do keep a date with us. But up next, after now, is Unasalachi Omabia. From me, Cynthia Cheme, I ask you to have a very lovely morning and day ahead. Bye-bye.
Good Morning Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
MCL, the word in your home.